Should you tune your car? That is a question that you need to ask yourself and kind of do some research for yourself. So it depends on the car. So I've had 2 Hondas now. Both of them have run custom tunes. Or I shouldn't say custom tunes, but non-factory off-the-shelf tunes. And they make a huge difference to the car. But you have to understand that there's risks with every car. My neighbor next door has a tuned Explorer ST, and if anything goes wrong on his car, he knows he's gonna have to fix it. If anything goes wrong on my car, I know I'm gonna have to fix it. And it depends a lot on the platform for how likely something happening is. Now, I know with like Subaru and their whole WRX platform and STI platform, I have never owned one, but I have heard a ton of horror stories about people doing basic bolt-on tunes and blowing something up. The transmission goes out, or the engine throws a rod, or the head lifts, or something. A big part depends on the platform. So if you have a Mustang, normally Mustangs can handle a little bit of boost depending on the engine. I mean, of course, the 4-cylinder is a turbo, but the Mustang can handle a little bit of boost or make a little more power without having any issues all the time. Subaru, not so much. Volkswagen, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I've never even really looked into tuning a Volkswagen. I know there's a lot of high horsepower Volkswagens out there, and I haven't heard too much about Volkswagen engines, but if you know anything about Volkswagen engines and tuning them, leave a comment below, because I'm kind of curious on what the general consensus is. But you really need to do research for your specific platform. You need to figure out, okay, have other people tuned this car? Have other people had issues? If a lot of people have had issues, it may not be worth it unless you can afford it. If you know that 60% of people blow their engine after they hit 400 horsepower, then if you're trying to go for 400 horsepower and you blow an engine, are you prepared to fix it? So it's all things to think about. You can't just expect the car to be able to handle that much extra power when it wasn't designed from the factory to handle that much extra power. Now, my 2020 Si, I tuned it. I knew there was a possibility of the head lifting, and that's an expensive job. And to be honest, I wasn't prepared for it if it did happen. And so because of that, I babied the car. And at that point, you have a tuned car, but it's not doing what you want it to do. I tuned it so it would be faster, so it'd be more fun to drive. But because I didn't want anything to happen to it, I drove it like a grandma and never got to enjoy the things that I did to it. And that's not fun either. I would have rather have had it stock, rather have had a factory warranty on it, and then had some fun with the car. It would have been a little slower. It would have been a little less fun, but it would have been more fun in the sense that I'm not sitting there worrying what's gonna happen to the car. Now the Type R, I know on the forums at least, I've seen 2 people that have blown up their engines. And both of them were tracking the car and pushing the car really hard with custom tunes. So that kind of gives me the idea that this can handle quite a bit of power without anything detrimental happening. And now I know that there are people running 500 plus horsepower on the stock block, and I'm not even close to that. I don't even have a bolt-on for this car yet. The only thing I've done to this car is put the K&N drop-in filter in it from an Acura, because that's the one that actually fits this car. They don't have a specific one for the Type R. And then put a tune on it. So realistically, depending on the dyno, I mean, it's probably right around 400 horsepower, which is an increase of about 90 horsepower. You can feel that 90 horsepower. That is a big difference in horsepower. So with that big difference in horsepower, it was worth it. I mean, I enjoy this car. I use this car. I give it some gas. I don't take it to the track. That's the one thing I don't do with this car, and that's probably the one thing that you should do with this car. But tuned, this car is very quick. I don't regret tuning this car at all. But do your research. Don't go into it blind. Just know that if you do tune the car and something happens, it's going to be on you. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Like this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.